Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'll introduce myself. I am Kausar Ataula, President of Girls Islamic Organization, Chennai Metro. So let us begin the session with the blessings of Allah the Almighty. I call upon Sister Amina Sabah, Associate Member of Girls Islamic Organization, Chennai, to recite and render a few verses of the Holy Quran. Sister Amina.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله نور السماوات والأرض. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح. المصباح في زجاجة. الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم. Translation. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light in the universe may be likened to the light of lamp in a niche, the lamp in a glass shade. The glass shade is like a glittering star, and lamp is lit with the olive oil of a blessed tree, which is neither eastern nor western. Its oil is so fine as if it were going to shine forth by itself through no fire touched it, as though all the means of increasing light upon light were provided. Allah guides to His light whomsoever He wills. He cites parables to make the messenger clear to the people. He has perfect knowledge of everything. Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Amina. I welcome you all to the panel discussion, Youth Voices, Defining Morality in a Free World, with a purpose to engage young minds in a thoughtful exploration of moral values and ethical dilemmas in today's diverse society. By sharing perspectives, experiences, and insight, we aim to foster a deeper understanding of how freedom influences moral decision making and to encourage open dialogue on the role of youth in shaping the moral landscape of the future. Also, we have with us today Sister Rahmatun Nisa as a keynote speaker who is a National Secretary of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind. She is also a chairperson of Tweet, chief editor of Aura-e magazine, secretary of a trust called Awake, which stands for Association for Women Advocacy, Research and Empowerment. She is also the editorial board member of Aramam Magazine Kerala, member of Board of Islamic Publication New Delhi, Central Committee member of AITA, member of All India Muslim Personal Law Board, and a Central Shura member. With great warmth, I call Sister Rahmatun Nisa to deliver the keynote address.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala rasulil ameen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Dear sisters, GIO Chennai Metro President and Jamaat-e-Islami Hind Women's Department National Assistant Secretary Rabia Basri and all the office bearers of GIO Chennai and Jamaat-e-Islami Hind Women's Wing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and also greetings to all our viewers and those who are listening me. First of all, I would like to appreciate GAO Chennai for organizing this type of a panel discussion, especially youth voice. In history, if you analyze history, we can understand that the youth are the driving force in bringing changes in society. So the world needs change, and there are many things that are to be changed. So for this, the initiatives that you take in understanding what is a problem with the present world and what is there to be changed is very important and very essential. So it shouldn't be confined to one panel discussion. And after this panel discussion, you all should get inspired to learn more and more on the topic that is being discussed. I understand that this program is being conducted in connection with the national level campaign, which we have been conducting for the last 1 month under the caption, Morality is Freedom. So when we talk about what is morality, and when we announce this topic, especially on 27th of August, we called a press meet and we announced this campaign, and we launched the campaign. And when we announced this topic, many were raising their eyebrows. People were asking, what morality and freedom and Islam, what is the connection? Because usually this is how we are being, the narratives are like that. And we are made to believe that when we talk about religion, when we talk about morality, when we talk about values, when we talk about tradition, they are associated with slavery, they are associated with limitations, they are associated with lack of freedom, and they are not associated with freedom. Freedom means, oh, you are free to do anything. It is something against your religion, against your custom, against your tradition, against your family values. But what is the connection? And we started explaining only, people have started understanding what is the connection between morality and freedom and Islam. So, as far as Islam is concerned, if you analyze the basic value of Islam, it is freedom. It is the freedom that not just for a selected few should to enjoy. It is the freedom which is required for every human being to live and let live. That is a slogan. So it is not, you are not a selfish personality. You are not supposed to be selfish. You are an insan and you are a human being. You have to work like the Khalifa of Allah in this dunya, and you should take care of, consider the humanitarian concern, the human rights that we talk about. All these are associated with basic concept of freedom in Islam. La ikraha fi din, Allah said. But he showed us wahadainahu najdain. He showed us two paths. And he told us what will happen if we follow one path or if we choose the other path. So like that, the freedom of choice is given to the people, even in the basic matters of selecting one's deen. So we can imagine the other aspects. And second thing is, whatever are the basic needs of human beings, whether it is sex, whether it is food, whether it is a home, whether it is a family, whether it is to have children, all these freedoms are being promoted in Islam. See, just one small example will make us understand. Just like you should have food, you should drink, and like that, sex is also a basic need of human beings. Human beings are created like that. But this urge is being promoted in Islam. Allah has, established or shown us a system called family. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةَ وَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَٰذِهِ الشَّجَرَةَ. What did Allah say? He told Adam to go to the Jannah along with his zawj and to enjoy whatever is there. وَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا. But وَلَا تَقْرَبَا هَٰذِهِ الشَّجَرَةَ. One tree is there, you shouldn't go near it. وَلَا تَقْرَبَا, it is said. The same term is used when Allah talked about zina. That is prostitution. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. So we can understand that the concept in Islam for freedom is not unbridled freedom, but at the same time, it acknowledges all the basic needs of human beings, and it gives a freedom for to enjoy all these basic things. But at the same time, this is made possible for everyone through some moral values. And here the basic principle is prevention is better than cure. If we understand this basically, then only we will be able to understand why Allah has said like this. Why Allah has said like this. Many youth ask, what is wrong in traveling alone with a man or our classmates? What is wrong in holding hands together? What is wrong in hugging each other? Men and men hug, women and women hug, girls and girls hug. So just like that, we are classmates. He is just like my brother. This many people say. So I can hug him. No, there is nothing like. So there are certain usul Allah has given. And regarding the dress also, regarding your eyes, there are, instructions are there to lower your eyes. So why all these? To understand this, we have to understand the principle of prevention is better than cure. Just like wearing a mask. During COVID, we all understood the importance of wearing mask. If somebody says this is limiting my freedom, I don't want to wear the mask, we will call that person only a fool person. So all these are being stopped, and then there are many narrations and discourses which tell people, which make the youth believe that this is freedom. So, and this is the most serious aspect of these narrations and ideologies are that earlier when you were a slave, it is a physical slavery that you can identify. I'm into slavery. You had that critical thinking power to understand that I am in slavery. But now the thing is, these are all sugar-coated things in the name of freedom. Saying that this is your freedom, they are pushing you to more slavery. Like, you have the freedom to drink, you have the freedom to use drugs, but you follow them and following the trend. And because of fear of exclusion from the peer group, because of the fear of getting dismissed from the party or from the group, you also start taking drinks, excusing yourself or justifying that it's only for one time in life, or it's only to please them, or I just took one peg or one little bit only for today, I will never take again. This is how people start doing wrong things. But then what happens? Slowly, they become addicts. And that is slavery. Addiction is slavery. And that leads you to do things which are even animals will be ashamed to do. And that makes you the worst kind of slave. This is the worst kind of slavery that we are seeing in modern world. And believe me, the only resistance, strong resistance throughout the world, even today, is that which is coming from Islam, from the Quran and Sunnah. That is the main reason why Islamophobia is getting spread everywhere. Because for an interest-based industry, for a prostitution-based woman's body being sold in the market like a commodity, that type of an industry, what is the main obstacle? Only Islam. All other religions, all other ideologies have surrendered themselves. Religious scriptures, they have changed the religious scriptures, the basic things in their religious scriptures, they have changed. And, even homosexuality is being approved. They are doing like that. But Islam is putting a strong resistance against it, and all others have surrendered themselves. In Islam, it is still in the pure essence. It is available to us, the Quran. No water is added to it, no dilution, no deletion. And even our visibility, when a hijab-clad woman stands in the society, appears in the society, that is an hindrance to so many other things. When a believing man or woman is there in one office, that is a hindrance to many people to do so many bad things. For example, if in a village office, there is one person who doesn't take bribe, all the people will go to him only, right? So that becomes a hindrance for the others. So what they do is they will try to demonize him, just like how they are trying to demonize hijab, just like how they are trying to demonize all the good things in Islam. They try to demonize him and try to push him from Coimbatore to Chennai or Chennai to Coimbatore or any remote village like Pulachi or anywhere in Tamil Nadu or anywhere in the country. Because they don't want his presence in their office because they are not able to do these kind of immoral activities. Now, I told you that family is given great emphasis, great importance in Islam. This is the only institution established by Allah. Now, because of the so many ideologies, influence of LGBTQ movement and so many other things, and also because of the other extreme, that is so many, un-Islamic practices among our community also, many of the youth are now either delaying marriage or saying, I don't want marriage. But believe me, you have to, the moment it is like, this is one thing which you shouldn't delay. That is what Allah's Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said. When you find a suitable alliance, you shouldn't delay your marriage. Because family is a protection against all these things. Now people talk about law. Why you talk about the age-old, centuries back, this type of moral values. Law is there in our country. That is, you should have law. And it's an irony that in India, every day new laws are made. Whereas they fail to implement the old laws. 1961 onwards, the anti-dowry law is there. So this is a problem. See, law itself cannot do justice, cannot give justice. Of course, justice itself, when we talk about law, we always talk about justice. But in this dunya, justice, complete justice, no one can give. No best law and no best judge can give complete justice. Can he? No. Or can she? No. Because, for example, in Kolkata, that rape case of a medical student. So the real justice for that girl is the family should get back the lost honor, and the girl should be brought back to life. Right? That is a real justice. Is that possible in this dunya? No. But what the courts can do is they can give them some relief. Even that is not being made possible because they say their professional ethics is to argue and say even if it is the worst kind of criminal, they want to save him from the clutches of law. Because, believe me, in India, the lawyers who take maximum amount as their wakil fee are the ones who argue for the worst kind of criminals. They know that he has done the crime, but still they, argues, justifying that this is my job ethics. This is my professional ethics. But actually, if that advocate or lawyer is really morally upright, what he will do is he has a choice in front of him, or she has a choice in front of him, whether to take or not to take the law. Take the case. But for that, you need a really strong moral values. You need strong iman and you need strong sabr because the temptation is too much. You should develop the courage of your iman to the extent that, just like how Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, on one hand the sun and on the other hand the moon, even if you put me that, I will not, discard my belief. I will not discard or do anything against my belief system. They offered him the best woman in the Arabian. That was the greatest weakness of the Arab people at that time, Jahiliyyah period. They offered him that. And they offered him wealth, but he did not succumb to that with the strength of his iman. So one thing is, legally we cannot get real freedom for people. And another problem with law is that there is a lot of contradiction. See, the best example is that of marriage. The age for marriage, there is a limit, but you can get into relationship, you can date, you can live together, you can have sex with any person of any age at any time. There is no restriction. So this is a contradiction. And then the laws change. At one time they say this is the best moral value or this is the best law, but after some time it changes. And at application level also, if people are not morally upright, they go for partiality. But for that, they should have this courage, this moral values, just like how Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, even if it is my daughter Fatima, I will cut off her hands. But at the same time, on another occasion, Umar Radiallahu anhu did not punish the person who was stealing. Whom did he punish? He ordered to punish the governor of that place, because of whom there was poverty. So what I'm trying to say is, just by man-made laws and regulations and rules, justice cannot prevail, and also moral values cannot prevail in this world, and you will not get the real freedom that you need, that is for everyone to enjoy in this life. And regarding the youth, the most tempting atmosphere is that of our modern campuses. Through the modern campuses, in the national education policy and all, if you read, you will think that if a person goes through that education, they will be the best person in this world. That much emphasis is given, and we can see again and again people talk about moral values, value education, and all these things. But this is the least thing considered in the campuses. And in the name of values, what is being taught, or the children or the youth are being brainwashed, are in the name of liberal ideologies. They are made to think that you don't have to listen to your parents, you don't have to follow your religion, you don't have to follow the values of your culture or your tradition. This is what they are being taught. And inside the campus and outside also, among the youth, if somebody says you have to wear hijab, immediately they give that person ticket to go to the 6th century or 7th century, right? Oh, you don't belong to this modern times, you have to go there. But now you see in Kerala, a state that is very near to Tamil Nadu, you must have read in newspapers regarding the Hema committee report. It was a committee appointed by the government of Kerala, and because of the insistence, or we can say because of the request of so many film actresses, and the study was regarding how female actresses and also those who work in the film industry are being misused. They are being raped and they are being abused, and how they face problems and difficulties in the film industry. So when the committee report came, in the report itself, one famous South Indian actress named Sharada, she was one of the members of that committee. You must have heard about her. She has she was famous in Tamil Nadu also. She was commenting about the tight-fitting, transparent dresses of the actresses as one of the causes. So because they have experienced the after effect, the consequence of not following the moral values. So now they are, when she comments, it is because it is coming from a liberal space. No one has any problem, but if it is a religious person says, means they will immediately comment that you have to live in that world. Why you are talking about this? After the report came, another senior actress named Urvashi, you must have heard about her also. I think she started her acting from Tamil Nadu. There is one famous movie called Mundani Mudichu. She started from there only. I think now also she's living in Chennai only. And this lady, she called a press meet. Now she's a senior actress. She called a press meet and she told the press people that, see, she was giving the advice to the junior actresses. See, when you are in front of the people, when there are more people around you, you are safe. But whenever the director or the senior actor is calling you to his room, never go alone to his room. Why? because there is no safety inside. The same thing was told by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam centuries back, when a non-mahram man and when a non-mahram woman are alone in one chamber, one place, the third person will be there with them, that is shaitan. So what I'm trying to say is, among your youth conversations, among the youth, among your peer group, when you are discussing these matters, you have to be empowered with more information. See, whenever there is a discussion about LGBTQ in the campus, people put you out saying that this is natural, this is something related to science, don't talk about that, don't comment about that. See, we have to study that scientifically, and how unscientific their arguments are, that we will come to know when we discuss it. So we need to study and equip ourselves. See, that is how Quran started, Iqra. And that is the only solution. We need to study what narrations are going on, and what does Islam actually talk about this, and their scientific, how unscientific they are talking about. Unscientific matter they are putting as scientific. So we need to study or read the research papers of other people, and then we need to discuss. So all these, our youth also hesitate. Why? Because the greatest fear is that of fear of exclusion. Don't be afraid of that, because always in any society, any country, not everyone is bad. As long as you hold on to your values, as long as you hold on to your moral values, your faith, definitely there will be somebody else who will be there, and you join hands with them. Always engaging with like-minded people is also really good. But at the same time, you have to engage with others also who do not think or believe like you, and bring them back to make them understand the reality and how enslaved they are becoming by following all these trends and attractions. They are very glamorous. This, in the name of glamour, you are getting enslaved. That whether it is glamorous jobs. Nowadays, the most glamorous jobs in the corporate world are actually, in fact, slavery. That we have seen with the death of a girl from Pune. So you study that. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to conclude. Number one is fear of consequences. The greatest fear is that of fear of exclusion, that you have to get rid of. And then another thing is, the real freedom is that of freedom from consequences. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Whatever you do, it has an impact on your life and others' life. So soch samajh kar. You have to think before speaking. You have to think before acting. And we need to understand that if I make a blunder now, there is no going back to my past. You cannot repeat your age again. Oh, at the age of 23, I made this blunder. I didn't know that this is how it will, the after effect will be like this. So you have to decide, you have to discuss, consult with the elders. You have to see what Islam says about this, and then only you should take the decision. Another thing is, freedom from guilt. This is the worst kind of slavery in the world. Your mind will, because you are created, kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra, laqad khalaqna al-insana fi ahsani taqwim. So we are created in the best form. So our conscience will prick. And if the conscience pricks, understand that this is something which I shouldn't do. So beware of that. Beware is the word that is repeatedly used in the Quran. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. Go through that. If you are jagradai, that is what the Quran, the main advice of the Quran is jagradai. So as I'm concluding with the words of Allama Iqbal, वो एक सजदा जिसे तो गिरान समझता है, हजार सजदों से देता है आदमी को najat. And in Islam, Surah Fatiha, you all study, Iyyaka na'budu وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. That is the greatest statement of freedom in this world. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. I am the slave of only you, only Allah. All others are like insan, each other. So if we always remember this, if we always remember that Allah is watching us, and this is the most liberating statement and the most liberating kind of feeling. We will feel liberated even if we are in front of, that is what we are seeing in Palestine. Even if you are in front of the armed soldiers, you feel so liberated and you get those guts and courage to stand for your faith and feel free of all these clutches, even if you are inside the jail, even if you are enchained. So this is the state of greatest freedom, real freedom. May Allah bless all of you to think about this topic more and more. And I wish all the best for the panel discussion also. I hope it will motivate more such discussions in future. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Jazakallah khair, sister. That was indeed insightful. You covered a lot of moral evils, and you also gave a lot of solutions under the light of Quran and Sunnah, as well as a lot of practical and logical tips. And finally showing us what real freedom is. Jazakallah khair for your time. Moving on, I would like to introduce the panelist of today's panel discussion. Our first panelist is Sister Nusrat Rilwana. She is a literature student. Our second panelist is Sister Wafia Taj. She is a physiotherapy student. Our third panelist is Afroz. She is a law student. Our fourth panelist is Sister Mariam Sayed. She is an intellectual property lawyer. And our last panelist is Sister Aisha Siddiqa. She is a nutritionist. Jazakallah khair, panelists, for joining. And we will start today's panel discussion. Okay. So our first question is for Sister Nusrat. My question to you is, for discussion over here is moral freedom about the ability to act as one pleases, or involves a responsibility to act in a way to uphold ethical standards?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's a wonderful thing to be the part of this panel discussion. So yes, let us come to the question, which is like, is moral freedom about ability to act as one pleases, or involves the responsibility to act in a way that upholds ethical standards? So as far as the morality is freedom, the campaign starts, I came to know about one thing in a very clear way, that it's all about your mind. It's all about your mind. It's that the freedom where it comes like when you are not able to control your mind, when you want to do it for sure, which pleases yourself, that's not freedom, that's colonization for sure. That's colonization of mind. That is not freedom, absolutely. So the freedom means, what is freedom? Allah have said in the Quran that Allah has a control on freedom, which doesn't reflect that Islam is restricted. No, not at all. We have many things jotted down that many things are there which is like harmful to oneself, harmful to human, that is prohibited, that is haram, and which is like everything for the human welfare and human goodness, which happens for the human goodness. So Islam is not restricted always, and freedom is not given to behave in an unlawful manner. First of all, that is the very first thing I would say. Freedom is not given to behave in an unlawful manner. So when you want to please yourself, when you just keep yourself in front and you think that I just want to please myself, I'll do whatever I want because I have freedom. Because in recent times, we can see that people claim they have freedom and they do everything. They say that it's my own freedom, nobody can stop, I'm unstoppable of it, I'll do it because this is myself, this is my own mind, this is my own body, everything. So which comes under that? Not at all. When you are telling that I want to please only yourself, that is making corruption. See, one or the other, it's a two-way around that. You cannot claim that I cannot live for the society. I cannot bother them because whatever they say, it's not my cup of tea. Some or the other way, you are bothering the society. That's why they are bothering you. When you react it in an unlawful way, obviously the society will bother you. You cannot say that I cannot live for the society being under the society. When the oppressions is made for you or the suppressions is made for you in a very brutal or cruel way, you can claim. You can say that I cannot live for the society. This is my own freedom. But just for silly things, people are just for wearing an indecent dress. People are telling that I have freedom, I can do anything. This is my own self. I will not bother about the society. No. So I want to share something that in the name of aestheticism, people are making many things. So where does aestheticism comes? Aestheticism comes when you react to the people in a charm and kind way, not in a harsh manner. But people are, I can see people telling that being rude and they claim that I have my freedom. This is my own tone. I cannot change it or I cannot adjust it for anybody. That's not freedom. Please the society where you will be pleased. When you try to make somebody happy, you will be happy. So there where comes ethical standards. So you should not be reacting in a way that to only please yourself. You have to react in a way that you have to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just think that when you are indulging in an argument, you are giving your point, whether it is right, but then the opponent is telling that it's wrong. Leave it off. That's it. You cannot claim that I have freedom, I'll fight for it. Then the argument will go on, and it will be a quarrel, it will be a fight, obviously, which will make a corruption. Leave it in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Live to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you will be pleased, where the society will be pleased. So I would say that please yourself by pleasing the society, holding ethical standards, please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because why a person should not hold ethical standards? Why? They say that I am following all the manners and doing all the corruptions. That's not will not come under freedom. As I said in the beginning, that freedom is all about your mind, how you control your mind. When you don't able to control your mind, your freedom is gone. No, you are not. You didn't get liberty actually. That's what when East India Company came here and colonized the people of India, and we get freedom after many years fighting for it. But then people minds are colonized by their self itself. So open up your minds. When you open up, when you try to control your mind, there where you achieve the freedom. Jazakallah khairan kaseera.
Jazakallah khair, Nusrat. That was really beautiful. Moving on, Sister Aisha. To what extent should society reinforce marriage, or should it be left entirely to personal choice? Kindly let us know your opinion. Aisha, you're on mute.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Alhamdulillah. So my question is, to what extent should society reinforce marriage, or should it be left entirely to personal choice? So in my point of view, human society cannot function properly without marriage, which serves as the foundation of a stable family structure. In Islam, marriage is considered a vital institution emphasized in the Quran and Hadith. Even our Prophet ﷺ said, "Marriage is my sunnah, and whoever rejects my sunnah is not of me." The same thing is happening. நம்ம பார்க்கும்போது இந்த society is happening, எல்லாருமே மேரேஜ் பண்றாங்க. நிக்கா அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது முஸ்லிம் சொசைட்டில இட்ஸ் கம்பல்சரி. பட் when it comes to normal, எல்லாருக்கும் பொதுவானதா வரும்போது இட்ஸ் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆர் நாட், இல்ல நம்ம இஷ்டத்துக்கு வாழலாமா வாழ தேவை இல்லையா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒருத்தவங்களுடைய ஃபோக்கஸ், ஒருத்தவங்களுடைய ஐடியாலஜி நம்ம பார்த்தா ரொம்ப வியப்புக்குரிய விஷயமா இருக்கு. ஸோ எப்படி வந்து மை பாடி மை ரைட் சொல்றாங்களோ அதே மாதிரி தே ஆர் சேயிங் மை லைஃப் மை ரூல்ஸ். ஸோ எப்படி வேணா இருந்துக்கலாம், எப்படி வேணா இருந்துக்கலாங்கிறதுக்கு பேர் வந்து ஒரு ஹியூமன் சொசைட்டி, ஒரு ஹியூமன் பீயிங்கோட ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் கண்டிப்பா கிடையாது இல்லையா. ஸோ தேர் இஸ் அ டிஃபரன்ஸ் பிட்வீன் அன் அனிமல் அண்ட் ஹியூமன் பீயிங். அனிமல் வந்து எப்படி வேணா இருக்கும், பட் அனிமல் கிட்ட நம்ம ஒரு விஷயம் பார்த்தோம்னா தட் அனிமல் ஹாஸ் அ பவுண்டரி. அல்லாஹ் என்ன சொன்னானோ கைண்ட் ஆஃப் சரி, அதுக்கு என்ன இதுதான் சாப்பிடணும், இதுதான் தூங்குற டைம், உன்னோட லைஃபோட ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் இதுதான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும் போது அதுக்குன்னு இருக்கும்போது அந்த அனிமல் வந்து அப்படிதான் வருது. பட் அந்த ஹியூமன் கிட்ட அதே விஷயம் 6 அறிவு கொடுத்து 6 சென்ஸ் வந்து அல்லாஹ் ரஹ்மத்தா கொடுத்து அந்த விஷயத்த வந்து நீ இப்படிதான் வாழணும், உனக்கு இதெல்லாம் வரைமுறை, இதெல்லாம் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி, இதெல்லாம் கட்டளை, நீ இதெல்லாம் ஒபே பண்ணிதான் நீ வாழணும்னு சொல்லும் போது மனுஷன் அதை மீறலாம். சோ என்னன்னா நம்ம கிட்ட வந்து ஒரு பவுண்டரி இருக்கணும், ஒரு லிமிடேஷன் இருக்கணும், ஒரு எத்திக்ஸ் மாரல் வேல்யூஸ் இருக்கணும். The same thing, the healthy marriage fosters the moral values, compassion and social responsibility. So இங்கதான் நம்மளோட சொசைட்டி வந்து சறுக்குது. நான் என்ன இப்போ ரீசெண்டான டைம்ஸ்ல நம்ம என்ன பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டிக்கு வந்து பீப்புள் பயப்படுறாங்க. ஓகே, நான் ஒரு ஃபேமிலிக்குள்ள போகணும்னா அங்க போய் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி இருக்கும், நான் வந்து ஹஸ்பண்ட் பார்க்கணும், குழந்தை பார்க்கணும், அவங்களோட ஃபேமிலிஸ் பார்க்கணும், 2 வீட்டோட ஃபேமிலிஸ் பார்க்கணும் சொல்லி மேரேஜ்க்கு நோ சொல்றதுக்கான ரீசன் என்னன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அவங்க கோலையாயிடுறாங்க. தே ஆர் பிகமிங் அ கோவர்ட்ஸ். ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி எடுத்துட்டு நான் அது பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன், அந்த கோவர்ட்ஸா தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் செகண்ட் விஷயம், மெட்டீரியலிசம்க்கு அடிக்ட் ஆகுது. ஒரு சினிமாட்டிக்கான ஒரு விஷயத்த பார்த்துட்டு அதுக்கு அவங்க ஒபே பண்றது, லைக் ஆசைப்படுறது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான விஷயங்கள் எல்லாத்துக்குமே ரீசன் என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இட் லீட்ஸ் டு எப்போ இந்த ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி, கம்பேஷன், moral வேல்யூஸ் எல்லாம் எப்போ when it comes to absence can lead to corruption and immorality and social crisis, right? And the same thing in India. In our country, the importance of marriage is evident across various cultures and community. Even the Hindu concept padi நம்ம பார்த்தோம்னா சப்தபதி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு sacred 7 sacreds வந்து சொல்லுவாங்க அவங்க. So they are emphasizing 7 sacred steps together. So symbolizing அது என்ன வந்து symbolize பண்ணுது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, they are symbolizing lifelong commitment. நம்ம நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்க கூடாது, இட்ஸ் நாட் இஸ்லாம்ல தான் இந்த விஷயம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஹோல் கம்யூனிட்டி, ஹோல் சொசைட்டி, இந்த வேர்ல்ட் சொசைட்டில கூட ஒரு சொசைட்டி நம்ம இந்தியன் கம்யூனிட்டிஸே நம்ம எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம்னா தே கன்சிடரிங் சாக்ரெட் வேல்யூ என்ன இந்த மேரேஜ்க்கு. ஸோ இந்த சிமிலர்லி இந்த கமிட்மெண்ட் வந்து இஸ்லாம் மட்டும் கிடையாது. சேம் திங் இஸ்லாம்ல வந்து இஸ்லாமிக் மேரேஜஸ் எம்பசைஸ் nikah as a sacred bond, the same thing. So in many Indian communities also the same, they consider as a sacred institution that strengthen family and promote social harmony, right? So without marriage, family structures crumble. அது ரொம்ப கொலாப்ஸ்ட் ஆயிடும். யார் எப்படி வேணா வாழலாம், ஒரு பவுண்டரிஸ் இல்லாம, ஒரு எட்டிக்வெட்ஸா இல்லாம யார் எப்படி வேணா வாழலாம்னா ஃப்ரம் த ஃபேமிலியில இருந்து அங்க வந்து டேமேஜஸ் வந்து ஸ்டார்ட் ஆயிடும். எங்கன்னா சொசைட்டிக்கு பெரிய டேமேஜஸ் வர்றதுக்காக நம்ம ஃபேமிலில இருந்து தான் ஸ்டார்ட் ஆகும். எப்போ அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பார்க்கும்போது வித்தவுட் மேரேஜ்ல யார் கூட வேணா, யார் எப்படி வேணா இருந்துக்கலாம், அதுக்கு ஒரு பர்சனல் சாய்ஸா, இது என்னோட பர்சனல் சாய்ஸ், நீங்க வந்து யூ ஷுட் நாட் இன்டர்ஃபியர் மை செல்ஃப் மை லைஃப் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது அவங்க தான் தோன்றித்தனமா, அதோட இன்னொரு வேர்ட் சொல்லணும்னா தான் தோன்றித்தனமா வாழணும்னு நினைக்கும் போது the family structures crumble, the society crumble, and the individual may seek harmful alternatives, inviting divine punishment. நம்ம வந்து கண்டிப்பா ஒரு சட்டத்தை நம்ம மீறணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, மனுஷன்னா இப்படிதான் வாழணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு சட்டம் இருக்கு. அந்த சட்டத்தை நம்ம மீறணும்னு சொன்னா நம்ம வந்து அல்லாஹ் சுப்ஹானஹு வ தஆலா கிட்ட இருந்து we are expecting like என்னது அல்லாஹ் கிட்ட இருந்து நம்ம பனிஷ்மெண்ட் வந்து நம்ம எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ணலாம். அவன் கிட்ட வந்து அல்லாஹ் கிட்ட இருந்து நம்மளுக்கு ஹெல்ப் கிடைக்காது நம்மளுக்கு கண்டிப்பா. ஸோ நம்ம வந்து டிவைன் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் வந்து நம்ம எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். The same thing Islamic teaching emphasize the importance of marriage in maintaining social harmony and preventing evils like zina and fitna. As the same thing, the Quran states that you all know the famous verse that is and among his signs is this, that he created for you mates from among yourself that you may dwell in tranquility with them. So peace அப்படிங்கிறது, ஒரு மன நிம்மதி அப்படிங்கிறது உங்களோட மேட்ச் கிட்ட இருந்து நீங்க you will get அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அல்லாஹ் சுப்ஹானஹு வ தஆலா சொல்றான். So the same thing. ஒரு விஷயம் மட்டும் நான் ஆட் பண்ணிட்டு நான் முடிக்கிறேன் இந்த இதுல. So in India, in our country, initiates like the family welfare program and என்னன்னா பேட்டி பச்சோ பேட்டி படோ ஸ்கீம். ஸோ என்ன இது எய்ம் பண்ணுது சொல்லி பார்க்கும்போது இட் ஸ்ட்ரென்தன் ஃபேமிலி ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் அண்ட் ப்ரொமோட் சோஷியல் வெல்ஃபேர். By valuing and strengthening marriage, we can build morally upright, prosperous, and cohesive communities. So that's all. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Aisha. That was actually really insightful. So our next question is, do the parents need to teach sex education to kids from a very young age? Nusrat, can you go forward?
Yes. Okay. So the question is, do the parents need to teach sex education to the kids from the very young age? It's not from very young age they have to educate their kids. But the question itself arises in my mind that whether the parents are teaching sex education to the kids. They are hesitant. First of all, they are very hesitant. In modern days, parents are thinking that they are very modernized, using Android phones are become very fashionable with them. They think that that is modernization. Not at all. Sticking to the Stone Age, they are thinking that we should not be telling children about these sensitive things because they would think that it's an unlawful thing, which is not at all. They have to teach sex education to their child for sure. Sticking to Stone Age and proclaiming that I'm modernized, that will not make sense at all. So that's a very question that I would say that they are not even coming forward. Then the question itself, like even though they became like the hormonal changes will happen from 9 to 14. So it's okay if they don't teach their children from 9 or 10. Okay, let them skip 11 also. But from 12, they have to start educating their children about sex education because there where their hormonal changes happens. But many parents are not like that. Many parents are not like that because they are like in the olden days itself thinking that we should not be teaching children about it. It's a sensitive topic which will lead them in a wrong way. But when the parents are failing to teach it, when they started to explore more about it, it might make them go under unlawful things. Because mind is like very curious. It wants to know many things. When the curious mind will do two things, which will give benefit, which will give knowledge, the one thing. And the second thing is the curiosity misleads a person. It will happen. So it's the parents' responsibility. They may claim that even though the child becomes 20 or 30, still they are my kids. It's okay. Let them be your babies always when they are 40 also. But it's your responsibility to grow them in a way that they have to hold ethical standards and they have to restrain themselves from sinful things and unlawful things. So it is mandatory for each and every parents to teach their children about sex education and about their hormonal changes. It's natural. It's quite natural for men and women. It happens with everyone. It is not like which is going beyond the limits or which is going beyond the law. It happens. It happens. When the time comes, it happens. But it's the responsibility of the parents to teach them like what is right and what is wrong. So that should be done.
Jazakallah khair, Nusrat. That was some modern reality that you showed us.
Yes.
Barakallah. Next question is, why are parents more involved in the upbringing of girls than boys? Why are boys not taught morality as much as the girls in the family? So, Afroz, can you go forward? Yeah. Walaikum salam.
So this is actually a thought-provoking question. So when I'll give my life example, when I was in LKG, from LKG to 8th standard, we used to go to masjid, and we used to, there was a Hazrat, he used to teach us Quran every day, like it was happening for 10 years. So basically, there would be two rows, pan opposite to each other. So in one row, we used to sit as girls, and in the next row, on the opposite row, they used to be boys. So here, we had interactions every day. in the presence of a elder person. So this is how the interaction should be maintained. So if now I'm studying in a college, it is co-ed college. I finished my higher secondary school. It was a girls' school. So I didn't have any difficulties talking to professors. So it was a cakewalk for me actually. So basically there is an approach, especially in parenting styles. So parents should be more involved in approaching their children in a particular way. So people basically misunderstand the concept that like कुछ भी बोलते हैं यार, like बच्ची ये करो, बच्चा ये पढ़ो, मतलब what is this? At least give me a clear cut explanation like what are you doing here. So let me give some factors upon this. First is masculinity and femininity. These two words people basically you know what they put it upon gender roles. They be like masculine is for male and femininity is for female. But in real, masculinity, for example, masculinity is a valley, okay, and femininity is a mountain. So masculinity is basically dependent upon how well you climb. For example, if you see her in construction working, you can see both male and female working in a place. She's also carrying 10 bricks upon her head. The male is also carrying 10 bricks upon her head. What is the difference? You can't see the femininity there, right? As also for women is like a mountain. The femininity is dependent upon the woman, how far she falls. So femininity is to be preserved and masculinity is to be built. This is the concept. This is the naturalistic of a human being. But here, these parents, right, they fail to approach their children in a right way. So if you take the context of cultural influence, if you take in India, people back then, in their old scriptures, they used to see that women are the Devi, woman is to be preserved in such a way, she has not to do work, this and all that. But what happened is, after gradually, what happened in the name of protecting the female child, they have not given any rights for her not to go out. She doesn't have, like, she's having a time bar. The bar time is 10. She's not go out after 10. She has no responsibility of doing such things like career, education, and all. Her only main job is kitchen, do household work, and feed the family. That's it. So if you see the cultural influence there in America or in Western sides, if you bar 18, you have to pack your bags and leave. It's either male or female, it doesn't matter. You have to pack your bags and leave. There, it isn't upon male or female. The what do you call the skills, working in home, sweeping, cleaning, cooking, everything. It's not a gender role. It's not a gender. But here, it is. You know what they call for male. If a male does a household chore, it is said to be an art, and if a female does it, it's said to be work. This is what is happening here. My brother used to play video games every day, all night, and I used to, cleaning the table, preparing for the dinner. This is what is happening. I asked my mom, like, what is it? What is the difference? What? अगर वो करे मैं करे तो क्या difference होगा? The work is getting done ना. That is what you need. So she didn't have any answer. She said like, लड़कियां करती हैं, this job of female to do. भाई को बच्चे करना. What is it? There is no clear cut explanation for all of this. So they are going to lead consequences in this. So you can see love and affection. Women are emotionally vulnerable, while men is totally opposite. Men are given tasks to be provided. Men should provide and protect the family. Women should be emotionally vulnerable. This is the natural thing of a person. While what happens is the parenting styles here is differing in this. As our Prophet ﷺ also said that equality in parenting is treat your child equally regardless of their sex. Be just among your children. He himself has mentioned everything. Then why do we need all such interpretations and all? It is only upon the cultural influence, right? If you take back in historical context, women were meant to work. They were involved in trade and commerce. yeah, they were given career options and all. But now it's not like that. Even they question me like, Ladki, why do you want to do advocate and all? So the parenting styles is basically upon the approach. The approach, the cultural influence, the first thing. And second thing is approach. If the the falsity is that the parents believe that when the child is born, it is born with akhlaq, while it is not. And also, if you bring up all this, there might be some other tips, some other parenting tips is that gender neutral language. If you see her in all these schools and if you go to coaching classes, they treat female children, small children like 10 or 12 years old, and male children differently. They be like, no, you have to run like 1 or 2 laps. 4 laps is enough for you. And if you go back and see in Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's things there in history. Just a minute. He used to say that the best of you are those who are best of their women and children. So there, Prophet was a parent himself. He himself has given everything. So why don't we follow that? It is sunnah, right? Still we don't. The parenting style is basically upon the approach. He also praised women like Aisha Razila Tala and Waraka Razila Tala for knowledge, for their own knowledge and scholarship. Historically, as the evolution came into force, people were more devolved upon protecting and preserving women for their emotional availability. This is what parenting styles, from the past till the present, it's been the same. All this feminism, femininity, these things have evolved for the right of education. We have after all these struggles of the feminists, we have came to such a pace, right? But now feminism is not the same way as it was. They have giving right to abortion. It is not a similar, it is not a moral value, right? So morality is basically the conduct of a person. We just claim that all those do's and don'ts are not moral. The conduct of a person defines morality. It may be good for me but not good for you. So same way in parenting styles, that may be good for a son but not for good for a female child. You have to make it clear to her what is the reasons, what are consequences they are going to do it, and all this you should be explaining to them. So parenting styles is only upon the approach of the parents. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Afroz, for throwing light upon this question. Moving ahead, how can individual balance current fashion trends and principles of haya? How does social media platform influence the perception of modern dressing?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam.
This is a very interesting question and the need of the hour. Firstly, I want to explain what is haya. Haya is something that is inbuilt within us as humans. It's a natural human instinct that we have. And for being clothed, being covered is a matter of dignity. Going back to Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam, when they ate that forbidden fruit, the first thing that happened when that happened, the first thing to happen was their clothes were drawn out, because that is a sign of humiliation or the wrath of Allah or the anger of Allah. So being immodest is actually Allah's anger on you. So this generation is falling under that category because the level of immodesty today is like never seen before. So that is a proof that Allah is actually angry at us and this generation, and that is why immodesty is being spread on that level. Today's times, if you see, people are they don't matter. This is a matter of shame, being immodest. Today's times, people are dancing and are immodest. And for example, before, when kings and all these people used to have, even till like recent times, when kings and people used to have these performances, dance performances, it used to be lower grade of women who used to come and perform for them, never their own family members or their own respected ones. It used to not be the king's wife or anybody related to the king's wife or anybody from the upper hierarchy. It always used to be some lowly women that they used to come perform for them and get appreciated by the men over there. But in today's time, that person and that position is of the highest importance and given the most respect, because in today's time that is called an art or a skill, or to be dancing in front of men. And even if you question this, they will say, no, this is the inborn talent, let the talent come out, let them enhance it, just look at her skills, look at her dancing. But this used to not happen before. It was a matter of dignity. It was considered lowly, at least. Even though it was happening, it was considered lowly, and nobody from the respectable families used to do that. But today that's not the case. Today, that is a matter of respect. They are being respected, they are turning rich, they are making revenue out of it. The whole social media industry is based only on this. If Even if you don't know anything today, if you just start being immodest on social media, you're going to start making money. That's how they have promoted it. Shaitan has made the system like that. And they keep saying women empowerment. In the name of women empowerment, they have done all this. And they keep emphasizing on the word independence. Women need to be independent. And in today's world, the definition of independence is I don't need a man to do so and so. But Islam teaches true independence, which is not I don't need a man, I don't need anybody in this world or anything for that matter. I only and only need Allah. Tawheed and staying away from shirk is actually independence, because that means you don't need a single thing on this planet to survive. Of you. Not needing a man or any sort of addiction or being a slave to any materialistic thing is true independence, which Islam teaches us. Girls are starting to wear hijab, and they have a lot of work to do in their heads, and they take the step finally and they start wearing hijab, and that gets a lot of criticism from many people. Yes, the right way to do hijab is in a way that, but criticizing women who just maybe wear the hijab and they start by wearing jeans and the clothes are tight, but they just start taking the scarf. But the first people to criticize will be the women, saying, see, is this even hijab? This is not hijab. But if the girl does not start from that level, how will she ever reach the level of a niqab and true hijab if you start criticizing her at the first stage? True. Yes, we need to do it perfectly, but that's a fear in this generation, that if I'm not doing it right, let me not do it. So they keep waiting for the day that, okay, when I'm ready to do the complete and mukammal hijab, I will then step into this. So Shaitan's working on that. He's not letting them take the first step. I mean, that used to happen to me also years back, and I was like, no, I'm not qualified enough to wear the hijab. I'm not perfect. Like, I need to be a good Muslim before I start wearing the hijab, because it's a responsibility. But once you get over that first step of wearing the hijab, you realize it's so easy. And that is true confidence. That is true confidence in the sense you are fully covered and people are judging you and having their opinions on you based on who you are as a person and your personality, and not on your looks. That is the ultimate confidence. Removing your clothes and looking pretty and good and impressing people is not confidence. Your true personality lies in your words. And that's how you make an impression in Islam, not through your looks. So the whole concept has become ulta. You are considered confident if you are showing your skin, and you're considered oppressed or suppressed if you're covered. Either ways, when we take such steps, I see criticism towards even like colored burqas, and no, we cannot criticize such things, because that is an attempt of a Muslim to become a better Muslim in the future. If we start criticizing them at step A, step B, they are never going to reach the ultimate hijab, any of us for that matter. And it is Allah's job to judge, not us. Women are usually the biggest enemies of women. I've seen that. no man is going to come and criticize you over anything. It'll either be some other women in your house or some in-laws, or it'll always be a woman. So let us first control our tongue. Morality is freedom means your freedom comes with rules and limitations. A human without any rules is equal to an animal. In fact, even animals have some kind of sense. But the life today that is being lived and the concepts that are being promoted, like YOLO, you live only once. Yes, you live only once, but that means you live only once. So please prep for the hereafter, because you're not going to get another life to live. So let's start working on ourselves and be bold by taking steps into Islam. That is true boldness. Take steps into Islam and still be a part of society. Don't become fully religious and think I need to sit at home now and it's only Allah Allah time. No. You learn to balance it. You be super confident, get out, be modestly dressed, speak well. That's how people are going to judge you and your religion, and that is the responsibility we have on our shoulders, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Mariam. You were really fair with your points. Jazakallah khair. Moving on. Does the pursuit of fame, likes, and followers lead to decline in moral values?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I would like to thank everyone who chose me and for this great opportunity to talk before you all. So let's move on to the question. Let's we ponder upon the words likes, fame, and followers. Just we can have a small thought for a while. Even in this world, are they useful? Like before going to according to Islamic view, even in this worldly life, are they useful? Are they of any use? No, it's mostly a no. Rather than normal people like us, it's just a waste of time. And we should know the main importance of for what Allah has created us in this world. The purpose of our life. The main purpose of our life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather than running behind the likes and fames for the worldly life and from the people. So first of all, I would say we should start knowing who is Allah and to know the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are beautiful 99 names of Allah. So once you start knowing each and every attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will start loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you automatically will do what Allah loves, because you will always want to keep the person you love happy. You will never want the person you love to be angry on you. And then we would see a verse in Surah Luqman, verse number 18. Allah says, and do not turn your cheek in contempt toward people, and do not walk through the earth exultantly. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful. So, Allah does not like us to boast and be self-deluded always. Because ultimately, when we start working on our fame, likes, and followers for the worldly life, this leads to pride. Because we see in social media that, when you actually post good pics, beautiful, all edited and filtered, only then you get likes and followers. Rather than nobody is concerned about our, personal life or something. It's just for everybody just wants to be on active on social media, and they just want the popularity among the worldly human beings. You should have a thought that we want to be popular among the angels who are there in the above the 7 heavens. We should always have a wish, that desire to that our name should be taken before the angels by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather than being our name should be taken among the worldly people. Then secondly, we would see a verse in Surah Al-Hadid. Know that the life of this world is but amusement and diversion and adornment, and boasting to one another and competition in increase of wealth and children. Like the example of rain, whose plant growth pleases the tillers, then it dries and you see it turn yellow, then it becomes debris. So what Allah is ultimately trying to say is, once the rain comes, there are plants which grow, then ultimately the leaves become yellow, and then it turns into debris. So it's just the same. Everything is temporary in this world. So whatever you try to do to please the people of this world, it's just temporary. Once you stop doing what they like, they'll forget about you. But Allah is not like that. Allah sees everybody. Allah knows everything. Allah hears everything. Allah sees everything. So we should start pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rather than pleasing the human beings. Secondly, this will lead to jealousy among our fellow mates and promote to evil eye. So when we start posting, good dresses or good hijab or whatever it is, when we start posting on social media, other friends look at it and they have a feeling of jealousy that, oh, this girl is having so much, I do not have anything. Then this one evil feeling starts in their heart. So we can avoid all these things by not posting and running behind the temporary likes and fames. Then when you start seeking people's fame from the world, you will automatically forget the thought of becoming Allah's favorite. We should fulfill the purpose of life of worship by becoming Allah's favorite and not by people's favorite, by doing all sorts of, because once you start doing everything for the worldly life, you forget the main purpose, that we have to do everything for only for the sake of Allah. So whenever you start doing, your main intention should be that I am doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you're wearing a hijab or you are giving at least even 10 rupees, whatever it is, you should not show off, or you should not do it for the appreciation from the human beings. You should do it only for the appreciation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the rewards you gain. That is the ultimate way to that will lead you to Jannah, not by getting appreciation from the people, and that will never take you to Jannah. There is a hadith stating that Allah will say on the day of judgment that you did whatever, if in case a person does all the good deeds just to get the appreciation and fame from the world, Allah will just tell it to that person that you did it for the people's appreciation. So don't ask reward from me. Just go to the people and ask reward from them. There's one more hadith stating that there were three persons. One was a alim, and one was a very pious person who gives sadaqah, and the third one is the person who is there in the who fights in jihad. So the first person who acquires knowledge just to be told by the people that he is a very knowledgeable person and he has so much knowledge and he is a alim, then Allah would not accept his knowledge and he would be in hellfire. And the second one is who gives a lot of sadaqah and who spends in the name of Islam just to get the popularity among the people, and he also will be in the hellfire. And the third person who wants to go be in the war and get the name of the Shaheed only for the popularity among the people, to say he gave his life in the name of Allah. But his intention was not actually to do for the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to become an actual shaheed by giving his life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rather than just to get a name from the people. So all these three sort of people will be in hellfire. So there is also a hadith, innamal amalu binniyat. So it states whatever actions we do, it depends on our intention. So whether it's what you're doing, even if you're giving a small, even now I'm giving you a small thought about on this question, I should do it just to make you understand and for the sake of Allah, not by I am becoming a panelist among this session, or not having a wrong intention about this. When you have a thought about I'm doing it for the sake of Allah, you will get the appropriate reward of it. Jazakallah khair. And I'd conclude my speech by saying that whatever action you do it for the sake of Allah and not for the worldly popularity and fame. It is not going to be permanent. It is just temporary among the people, because it will lead to ultimately jealousy, pride, and evil. And Allah would say, even atom amount of pride which is there in the heart of a person, he will not enter Jannah, because pride is only to Allah. And we should just motivate ourselves by saying, even if I'm in this situation, or even if I'm becoming a big doctor or whatever profession I am in, or wearing a good cloth today, it's only by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we start realizing that this life, this facilities, luxuries, the food we eat, everything is through Allah, then automatically you will start finding appreciation from the people, and this will automatically correct your moral values and lead you to a good character and a good way to enter Jannah. Assalam, Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah khair, Wafia. You stated some really valid points out there. Jazakallah khair. Going ahead, what are the long-term societal costs of widespread cigarette, alcohol, and drug use, particularly in terms of healthcare, productivity, and moral values? Aisha, would you like to go ahead?
Yes. So the long-term societal cost of widespread cigarette, alcohol, and drug use, particularly in terms of healthcare, productivity, and moral values. In our country, India is facing healthcare crisis due to widespread cigarette, alcohol, and drug use. The alarming statistics are staggering. With 1 million deaths annually due to tobacco use, 2.5 million deaths annually attributed to alcohol consumption, and 3.1 million Indians struggling and with drug addiction. The economic burden is equally daunting. The tobacco cost India 1.4 lakh annually in healthcare expenses, while alcohol consumption costs rupees 1.4 lakh gross, subhanallah. So drug use abuse adds another 20k rupees 20,000 crore to the tally. And the same and the thing is, but we are seeing the numbers, but it's not about numbers. It's about lives cost, family shattered, communities devastated. We must address the public health crisis through prevention, education, treatment, and policy changes. By working together, we can mitigate these costs and build a healthier, more resilient society for all. And also severely impacting productivity. We can see the productivity to analyze Pakumudam. According to the WHO, reports that substance abuse cost India $22 billion annually lost in productivity, so affecting 10% of Indian workforce, approximately 4 million people, approximately 4 million people. Tobacco use alone climbed 1 million deaths annually and cost rupees 1.4 lakh crore in healthcare and productivity losses. Additionally, alcohol consumption accounts for 15% of all deaths among 15 to 49 years olds, with losses of same rupees 1.4 lakh crore in productivity annually. So alone, drug abuse affects 3.1 million Indians, mostly youth, impacting mental health, relationship, and economic stability. To mitigate these costs, investing in prevention, education, treatment, and policy changes is crucial. By addressing substance abuse, India can boost economic growth, enhance workforce productivity, improve quality of life, and achieve UN Sustainable Development Goals. Collective action today will shape a healthier, more prosperous country tomorrow, more prosperous society tomorrow, inshallah. So there's the same thing. The widespread cigarette, alcohol, and drug use in India is eroding moral values and threatening the country's social fabric. This substance abuse leads to breakdowns in family structures, causing divorce, domestic violences, and child neglect. It also fosters crime, violence, and corruption, undermining trust in institutions and promoting harmful behavior that disrespect traditional value and cultural norms. Substance use abuse damages education and personal development, limiting individual potential. In India, it contributes to 50% of domestic violence cases and few 60% of crimes, including theft, robbery, rape, and murder. No blame in harm. Alarmingly, 30% of Indians youth are affected, imperiling future generation. The moral cost is again a staggering situation. With erosion of empathy, compassion, and social responsibility, addictive behavior become normalized, harming communities' cohesion and leading to loss of role models, and mentors and community leaders. To restore, we are responsible to restore the moral values, education, awareness, and prevention. We have to support treatment, rehabilitation, and reintegration, as well as strengthening family and community bonds are vital. So the thing is, we have to encouraging cultural and spiritual renewal can also help the society to build a good and moral society tomorrow, inshallah. That's it.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Aisha. The statistics that you presented were pretty eye-opening. Jazakallah khair for that. Going ahead, our next question is, what do you think are the consequences of a growing gay LGBTQ communities, especially among Muslims?
So, first of all, we say, what is gay? Gay is basically homosexuality that is, they don't attract towards the opposite gender, they attract towards the same gender. That is basically gay. So, here in Islam, there is a complete no to the homosexuality, because how Islam is a strict no for the zina, adultery, the homosexuality is also a strict no. Surah Isra, verse number 30, Allah says, come not close to zina, adultery, which will lead to other false acts. This rule same applies to the law of homosexuality. Do not come near to homosexuality, because homosexuality is basically people fighting the desire of being attracted towards the same gender. So it's actually when you compare homosexuality and zina, they both are on a same sailing boat. It's like when a man is very controlled upon his desires not to look at other women, that he is being away from zina, because Allah has told, do not come near zina. This applies same to the homosexuality law, that when a person is fighting his desire of being attracted towards the same gender, he is fighting a jihad within himself, because he is being controlled that he should not come under the control of nafs and should not get attracted toward the same gender. Then Allah says in Surah Araf, do not prefer men rather than women, then you will be transgressing people. So Allah is asking the people that why do you prefer men rather than women? Then if you prefer men, then you will be a transgressing people. That is a transgender. So about this homosexuality, Allah has already said a lot of things in the Quran. We should take a heed, because this homosexuality was also during the era of Prophet, other prophets. They were there was a great storm in their era, that it they, like I would say, they were mixed into the mud by the Allah's azab. So we have to take the seriousness how this homosexuality is serious among the Muslim communities. It's spreading so rapidly that we would say it's a greatest sign for the nearing of the Day of Judgment. So we are talking about moralities, freedom. We are telling, we are asking people to be modest to avoid zina. So this also comes under the picture that zina is also wrong, and it also is the same rule applies to the homosexuality, that we have to be, when a person has the desire of, like, when you have feel that I am getting attracted to the opposite gender, they should start becoming closer to Allah. They should start knowing what are the rules and regulations told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are the azabs given to people who do homosexuality. Because when you start doing all these things, you automatically lose your iman, which is the very important thing to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then next thing I would say, in Surah Rum, verse number 31, Allah has told, I have given only love between the hearts of a husband and wife, not between a man and a man, or a woman or a woman. And we are not talking about the platonic love that is between a sister and a brother, or a mother and a daughter. It's not like that. Allah is clearly stating that I have only given love between husband and wife. They are like the clothes and the body, it's like the garment and the body. So that love only can be expressed between the husband and wife, not among the same gender. Men and men cannot be together as husband and wife or husband and husband. And there was a research stating that homosexuality is a genetic thing which comes through parents, but later it was known as a hypothesis, which the person who stated about this, that homosexuality is from genetics, he was itself a homosexual. So how can a homosexual person say that this was from genetics? And sex with husband and wife is also a worship. As we all know, when you are intimate with your husband or a wife, when you are having fun, as Prophet ﷺ used to play games with Aisha radiallahu anha and all other wives, that was also a worship when you spend quality time with your husband or wife. But in this case, how it works is, when a person delays their marriage, or they are a lot more into wrong things, not closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not closer to their deen, not concentrating on their improvement of their deen, and they are into zina. Once they get tired of the opposite gender, having sex with the opposite gender, they ultimately find, they get bored of the opposite gender. So they start finding that fun and that pleasure in the same gender. So they go beyond nature and commit all other sins, which is like not acceptable naturally. And in Islam, it's totally prohibited, because Islam only stands with the truth, and only haq wins in Islam, because Islam always teaches us good and bad. Here, homosexuality is totally wrong and very against nature, which can cause various other problems. And then, like, among Muslim communities is that I see, nowadays, in co-ed colleges, there are many things arising up, like this is homosexuality is also a gender to be respected. And in many other abroad countries and English countries, now there is a rule which supports homosexuality, and we cannot go there and talk against homosexuality. If we talk against homosexuality, it's a crime now. Nowadays, it's a crime. Even in India, it's allowed to marry men and women, women and women. It's all allowed. Once a person falls into this trap, and he is totally gone, because he has lost the, he's not following the actual rules of the Islam, and he is not seeing what Allah has told him, because Allah knows which is good for us and which is bad for us. So Quran is a total guide for us, which has given each and everything that how to lead a life, how to be good with other people, about our character and day-to-day life. Even there are sunnahs stating how to eat, how to wake up. We have everything. But when a man forgets all these basic things, and he gets into all this Western culture, and he starts he or she, whoever it is, they start following, they want this temporary enjoyment, because we know that this world is a prison for the disbelievers, and sorry, world is a prison for the believers and Jannah for the disbelievers. So we should ultimately try to understand that what they are doing is wrong, and we should not fall for these false traps which are being laid before us. Because we are already near to the end of the time and day of judgment, we should realize that this has already happened, and Allah has already mentioned about this thing in the Quran. So when we start pondering upon the things which are mentioned in the Quran and realize that this is wrong, then you will automatically lead to a right path. But when you start enjoying this false and temporary craziness and fun, then you will lose your path, and you will ultimately end up in all this homosexuality. And this homosexuality is very dangerous, because once a person starts praying his and believing and going according to their nafs, they psychologically start believing that they are naturally homosexual. So we as parents or our siblings or whoever it is, we should keep an eye on our Muslims and siblings or whoever it is. We should monitor them. When we see somebody like that, we should try to tell them which is good and which is bad, and try to bring them back. Because this is because I have seen one example, that once they fall into this, whoever it is, because nowadays this has become legal in all the countries, so even parents cannot do anything, because even when they are against their children, they are not supporting this. homosexuality, they will be jailed or they will be punished by the law and government. So from the beginning, when they are in a small age, it stays, science states that homosexuality, this thought starts from the age of 9, when they there is a bud when they are starting to mature. Excuse me. Sorry, please excuse me. So I was saying, yeah, so science states that children develop, when they are maturing, it starts at the age of 9. People say gay as 9, right? So why do they say 9? Because it's proven by the science that this problem between their brains to decide whether a girl or a boy, it starts at the age of 9. So when, as parents or siblings, when they start monitoring their children and smaller kids, that when they are growing up, whether they are interested into cars or bikes or other things like beautifying things or other things, you should monitor them and correct their way, even uh, like when they are growing up itself, when you start correcting them, or if even if they are grown people, we have to tell them, like, because our work is to give them dawa and always tell them which is right and which is wrong. If Allah has decided that he should give the hidayah to them, they will definitely turn back into Islam, and this will not affect their life by they becoming a homosexual, and this will uh, become a very big burden to the Muslim community, because when one starts doing this, starts like a chain, and we can never stop this. Like, we know smoking is haram and alcohol is haram, but people are doing it, right? Because they have started following the Western culture. They are like accepted that, okay, but it's haram, but I'm not able to control it, because now they have psychologically it's fixed in their mind that this is wrong, but okay, I am not able to stop, I'm addicted to it. It's homosexuality is also, it's same. Like, when once he understands it's wrong, he can stop it. When once he's addicted to it, he cannot stop it, because his brain will get fixed that no, this is my path, I have to be like this. So I'd conclude by saying, like, as a law, we in this Hindu community or this in country, we cannot change the law whatever it has given. But whenever we see people going in a wrong path or being like this, even in our families, relative side, we have to be careful, and we have to always keep telling people that this is wrong and this is right, because it's our work, and it's our responsibility to do dawa, and this will be a very great of a wrong thing in our Islamic community, because this has already been taken place in the past in one of the Prophet's story, and they have been through a very great punishment. So people have to look after the punishment and realize that this is wrong and clearly wrong. It's equal to zina and homosexuality. They both apply as the same. People, when they start having this feeling, they have to fight a strong jihad for this. Then they will succeed in life, inshallah, and in hereafter. I mean, Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair, Wafia. Um, Moving ahead, what challenges do young Muslims face when trying to uphold their moral values in non-Islamic environments?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So how do we uphold our Islamic values in non-Islamic environments is the question, which is basically everybody's life here in today's world. We are all trying to do the same thing, which is try to stick onto Islam while being and living in totally non-Islamic environments. The only thing I've understood yet till now is they say practice what you preach, but the best way to preach Islam is to practice it in front of non-Muslims. So the only way and the most important way we preach Islam and uh, pull people towards it is by following and practicing it ourselves. So that basically means you first work on your own self, and people automatically start to notice and see the beauty of Islam. Uh, Another thing is, let's not ever shy away from practicing Islam. So I remember when I went for my first interview, everybody was like, okay, you're going in a burqa. Are they going to accept you in this law firm or not? But I was clear that I will go the way I dress every day, and if they're ready to accept me, well and good. If not, I'm just going to decline the offer. And Alhamdulillah, when you make your mind up like that, Allah makes things easy. And Alhamdulillah, we are still living in a city, and South India is still a place where you can easily practice Islam, and there is still a lot of secularism. I don't think the yet north is gone out of hand right as of now. I know many people who are getting rejected in job opportunities only because of the way they dress. They are ready to sign papers immediately if you agree to remove your hijab. So this is a testing time for Muslims in India, and it is highly important that we stick on to our religion. I remember during law college, when I used to pray namaz all the time. Like every time there was time, I used to just take permission and go pray. After one point, the first people to stand up for me used to be non-Muslims, and they have. There's also been an instance where they have stopped the class, asked the teacher to wait, and said, "No, Mariam needs to pray. Let her pray first." So the first people to appreciate and respect you are going to be the non-Muslims. Moreover, when they see they hear a lot of stuff about Islam in the media and social media, and there's a lot of propagandas around, but then they see you living Islam, they know what true Islam is. So we don't need to shy away from practicing Islam in non-Islamic environments, and nor do we need to shy away from going to universities or stuff like that, because how else will the non-believers even know what Islam is if we don't exist in such environments? I see the moment people change, they stop going to such environments, which is a good thing. But you need to still be in touch with some people. You cannot boycott them, because you are the only link to Islam in some of their lives. Maybe they don't even know how Muslims live or who they are, or how, when you are close, when my non-Muslim friends look at me, they know that I'm wearing the hijab because of a choice I made, and it is not a suppression. So tomorrow, when they go to speak to their family or hear something against Islam, they know and they've already witnessed this, so they can speak up for us. And this is what it attracts them also, because they see that Islam beautifies the character of a person. The religion is as such. And when in a world where everybody is running behind how to attain happiness, Islam flips the concept and says you attain peace. Islam is all about peace. It's showing you different ways to attain peace. And peace can be attained by everybody no matter which situation they are in. Uh, Money does not give you peace. Money gives you temporary happiness. But even a small man in a small house with family around him can be at peace if his relationship with Allah is well and good. So Islam, we say Assalamu alaikum every time we meet each other, because we are only wishing for peace on one another, and that should be the ultimate goal of our lives. Uh, so when we change as humans and become true believers, you don't change and run from the society. You change, you embrace it, and let people see the change in you, so that you publicize your change. You show it to people, let people understand this religion, and that is the first thing that attracts them to this deen itself. Moreover, for example, the hijab, I've realized in today's world, is an automatic barrier to many evils and fitnas coming your way. There's an automatic respect when a man approaches you, or a man doesn't even approach you because you're wearing a hijab. He always has 10 filters to him before he approaches a woman wearing a hijab. So it is all a means to protect us. Let us embrace it confidently and still be a part of society and the environment around us, and not shy away from practicing it, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Mariam. That was really nice. Alhamdulillah. Our last question for the day: how should we, as Muslim youth, engage with the broader world without compromising our ethical standards?
So the past presidents have already given what the term broader world is. All this LGBTQ thing, the drug thing, how the young Muslims are involved in all those upholding non-Islamic environments, everything. These all comes under the broader environment. So if you take about LGBTQ, now this community here is, they form a community by their own perspectives and all. We can't even understand the terms they are given, non, by, tri, by, whatever, all those things. So basically, they have not been exposed, or they have not been given the creativity. So they have come up to a kind of thing that is immoral, right? And also drugs and alcohol. It is easily accessible for me in my college. So where is the moral thing here? In the place where you are to be educated, where you are to be learn moral things, you can easily get all those things. You can be promoted to anything. In my college, there is easy access to drugs, and also they are holding some nude parties and all. So this is where we are leading. This is the broader world we are being in. So if you think how young Muslims, like as such, to approach the world and follow, maintain our ethical standards. So the term ethical standards can be unidentified. Now imagine, I'll give an illustration. Imagine if we are in a war. Okay, the person who's protecting me shoots another person there. He's been injured. Now it is ethical for me that that person has protected me. But there, there might definitely be a doctor to save that person at all costs. Now that is ethical for him. So ethics doesn't be dependent only upon a person. It might be correct for me, but not for him. So this is where we have to be clear of what is ethics and what is morality. So I'll give some certain factors what is happening. So as a prophet already said that there might be a time where holding on Islam is like holding a hot charcoal. Right? Here also I'll give that approach is the only thing. So for example, if you say morality, we just jump to conclusions that this is right and this is wrong. Who are we to judge? We are no one to judge. We can advise them. See, this is, if you follow this way, you can be as such. There is no person who has never sinned, who has never. If you say a child, see that candle is going. If you put hand in that candle, it's going to burn your hand. You definitely do that, right? After knowing it is hot, she'll not do after that. It's a simple thing as such. If you see, as a prophet said that saying salam, that is the moral thing. And you can't see a big entrepreneurs or big businessmen say salam to the drivers and all those workers and servants. No, it's not happening here. So that is not moral, right? We always see the bigger part, that is these drugs, LGBTQ, alcohol, all this. We are only focused on these bigger parts. Well, even the parents, elders, they are not being moral at certain circumstances. Now here, these youth, now there are certain sunnah ways of engaging with people. So here you can like this organization, you can also form many organizations where you can interact with other people and talk about and discuss about how our life is engaging with it, and we can give advices. And also I can say that yesterday when I was prepping for this question, I searched up a YouTube video where there might be a random students from random universities writing what are they going through and all, and there might be random people, random parents, or and they used to take it and read it, saying that they have all these problems like this, as sister mentioned, that modesty thing, and all this hugging culture, all this friends with benefits culture. These things are all happening now and then. So all these comment sections I see there is, move to your own country that is safe for you. So he's right. What he's saying is actually right. It's not wrong. Anything is not wrong in that. Now, for example, in our India, the democracy is haram. I'm voting for a person and he's introducing a law that is haram. Same-sex marriage, adultery. Now he's legalizing all those things, and I'm part of it. So I am also taking part in that, right? So I'm not being moral. The youth youngsters should be made aware of all these things. So this is what I want to conclude is, there is also sunnah ways of engaging with young people and also non-Muslims. You don't have to be like all this namazi thing and talk only about Islam and all. You can be moral. Moral is not just about being in Islam. Every other religion teaches the same, to be good to everyone, to be no religion here says that harm one person, kill one person to safeguard you. No, right? So this is what my I can conclude by saying is the approach. You have to be open to give exposure to others and approach to different religions, different categorizing of people and everything. This is what I want to conclude. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Afroz. And Jazakallah khair, all the panelists, for giving your time and your input and your insights, which I'm pretty sure everybody must have, taken some benefit out of it. So moving ahead, I invite Dr. Rabia Basri to give the concluding address. She is the Jamaat-e Islami Hind National Assistant Secretary, Principal and Correspondent of Hidayah Islamic College for Girls, as well as the Girls Islamic Organization in charge for Chennai Metro. Over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. نحن نقص عليك نباهم بحق إنهم فتنة آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. We narrate to you their true story. They were a part of young men who had faith in their Lord, and we increased them in guidance. Sadaqallahu Azim. Dear panelist and anchor of this today's day, the girl who recited the tilawat, and Rahmatulnisa Saiba. I start this one with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Really, I would like to congratulate all the panelists and anchor Kausar. You all did a fantastic job. I was really very happy listening to you all. And you people have kept in front of us many problems and solutions also what the youth are facing right now. I am thankful to Almighty for giving this opportunity to hear you all, your opinions, your suggestions to the elders and for the society. I feel all of us, all the elders has to hear your point of view. So coming to my concluding part, I may not be able to highlight all the points which he has mentioned because it's many points you have given. Starting from Aisha, Afroz, Advocate Mariam, all those, they have given many points. So just I congratulate once again all of you, and I will hit only few things. Excuse me, I'm getting on call. So in the end, one of the girls, she said that morals are universally similar. That's the truth. If you go and see any book and speeches, you see they discuss more about the morals. And the standard, the characters among all the faiths are the same. Like how she said that killing. Nobody will agree that killing is good. And nobody will agree that cheating is good. Right? But still the promotions of evil is there. In today's world, Western culture, media, movies, internet, all have the same inclination on the society. Even though we follow the Quran, the spiritual books, still we say immorality is there. And we cannot avoid this one. A bad thing spoils good things. For example, if you keep an apple in front of either or side to that one spoiled apple, side to that one good apple, we know what will happen. The good apple will also get spoils. So one in the keynote, Sister Rahmatulnisa, she has highlighted about the movies. Just if you compare the movies in the past 30 to 40 years back, no immorality was shown in that one. No vulgarity was shown, no vulgar words, nothing was there. But now it has become common. Vulgarity has become a common promotion. We can see vulgar words, dialogues, even in the song also, we can see that one. Very disturbing thing. We cannot hear even the songs also. We started watching it with families, this type of movies. not only watching, if our children get inspired by those type of movies and they are acting in front of us, we are encouraging them. We are, instead of stopping them, we are telling, see how my son is doing, see how my daughter is doing this one. That much we has gone down. Today, the world is more inclined toward promoting Western values and immorality. We are careless. We are careless in such a way that it is influencing our Islamic values also. Our ideologies are influenced by that. If you remember, in our schools, when we are small, maybe you are also may remember that any fancy competition or anything is there, what you used to wear, like leaders' dresses, or king, great personalities, like this, those dresses only you used to wear and used to deliver the speeches. But now what the students are wearing? They're wearing the dresses of film stars, actors. Not only that, they're imitating them and dancing, they're doing the dancings on their songs. Recently, we have come across in newspaper that in one school, on the Teachers' Day, the children has acted and they have, I think they have danced on one song, which I cannot even express the name of the song or anything. So people started, teachers, I can say, okay, people leave it, but the teachers, how can they accept that one? Parents, when they bought the dresses, when they hear the song, this is the song the children are doing, how can they allow them? This is accepted. The people started accepting the sin. Society, the changes in society won't come immediately. It has started slowly. The transformation has started from olden days to now. Slowly, the change has started. I can say we left when the problem started. Now there is no loss, still we have the time. If you travel also, you can see the mall in the boards or in the posters, the vulgarity or immorality things. We are not able to avoid it. Even the cartoon the children are watching is so much immorality. They're showing the girls, ladies pictures, the dresses they're showing. This is how they're showing it. Our children, they are watching that. The children are exposed to idea of sexuality. One of the girl has highlighted this one. In the early ages, they are losing their childhood. Even in schools and colleges, the debates which they are conducting are about the rights of the guy, LGBT, homosex, marital marriages, different marriages. This type of debates they are conducting. They're promoting. The market is promoting. So Ummah is in real threat. The whole society is facing this one. These are really in danger. Or one of the panelists, she has spoken about Haya also. Haya is really beautiful too. It is same for both male and female. There is no doubt at all. Because in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs first to the men and then to the female. Shyness, Haya, it means shyness is a like a powerful thing. We feel shy talking about sex, sexuality. This also one of our panelists has kept in front of us. But in Quran talks about all the things and it expresses about sexuality also. It explains about hur. And we consider this as a blessing, like other blessings. Quran combines sexuality with spirituality. It says maintain wudu before involving in sex. Like how you do wudu before reading Quran and doing your salah or namaz. So here Quran is talking about sex. At the same time, it is telling if you do it in a haram way, it is spirituality. So my dear girls, many things are being mentioned in the Quran. If you go and see, you know where to do and what to do. Morality and immorality, I will give one example of this one. There is a slight difference only. The moral things will become immoral when you do in extreme level. For example, if anyone wants to do build their body, and they do exercise, it is allowed in Islam. But if you take pills, if you take medicine, if you take drug to build your body, then it is immorality. That is the only slight difference. I'm really thankful to Almighty once again for giving me this opportunity, because we had many programs, many sessions with the advocates, with the NGOs, with the counselors, with different platforms we had section. But today the session is with the youth. We consider youth as the backbone of any nation. Any people, if you ask what is your backbone, they will say the youth. And I am thankful to Almighty. Our youth are really in a good, they are having the good sense. We know that the level of moral development and civilization depends on the morality of the youth. It can be said that nations survive till their ethics live, and that too, the youth's ethics live. So adolescence is a period when young minds are filled with curiosities, questions, and desire to understand their place in the world. You can help them. You can help other youth. You can guide them. You can teach them. You can teach them the faith, morals, values, responsibilities. Quran has mentioned about the youth in many places. One of the surah is Surah Maryam. It talks about the Maryam Islam. How much importance has been given only because of our morality. And one more surah which was mentioned about the youth is Surah Yusuf. It talks about a beautiful young prophet, how he spent his youth in trials, in receiving the bounties of Almighty, and what he received when he had the morals. He got the kingdom. So Allah Ta'ala, every place he has mentioned about the youth. Even the verse which I recited was Surah Kaf and verse number 13. In that also Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says the importance of youth. When you are having the belief, when you are having the faith and you follow your morals, definitely you can bring the change, and you are the needed one. You people has only to follow what Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught you and how the Sahabas has followed. Today, our panel discussion is with youth, and you believe, one of the girls also, she said that we believe in life after death. And you consider this one as a temporary, and it is a test, and real result lies in Akhirah. So dear girls, you consider this as an examination. When you sit in examination, how you will sit? With your complete body, focusing the mind, body, soul, completely will sit there. Think how a student understanding the values of every single second in an exam uses time purposely, knowing it shapes their future. Similarly, if you also, a believer, utilize your time each and every second for the benefit of the society, for developing the society, definitely we can bring the change. Youth are the one who can bring the change. The history has shown that is a youth who bring the revolution, who brought the changes in the society. And you can build a better future also. Hoping that our youth, that is especially I'm talking about you girls, that you people will bring the revolution and change in the society. Once again, I thank Chennai JAO for organizing such an excellent discussion, panel discussion. Jazakallah khair. Wa akhir alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Jazakallah khair for your time and for sharing your views. Jazakallah khair. To conclude, I call upon Sister Atufa Nasiha, Secretary, GIO Chennai Metro, to conclude the session with the vote of thanks.
As we conclude this enlightening discussion on defining morality in a free world, I extend heartfelt gratitude on behalf of GIO Chennai Metro. A sincere thanks to Sister Rahmatunnisa Sahiba and Dr. Rabia Basri Sahiba for sharing their invaluable insights. And a big thank you to our panelists, Nusrat Rilwana, Wafia, Afrida, Afroz, Mariam, and Aisha
for their thoughtful contributions. We also appreciate the hard work of our organizing team and members. Lastly, a warm thanks to all the attendees, both in person and online, for your support.